Before we go into anything in the video today, what I want to say right now, if you're willing to put in the work and put in the effort, I promise things will work out. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. So just know that out of the gate. I don't want there to be any false implications. You need to also know you're not going to get rich overnight, and it's going to take a lot of hours to learn. But if you're okay with that, let's get right into it, because I'm going to show you exactly how I would start day trading in 2024. Let's get to work. The first thing we're going to do out of the gate is jump into brokers. Now on the top, I have the more beginners, and then on the bottom, I have the more professional type in-game brokers that I would personally recommend. So if we're looking at this right now, Robinhood is the best barrier to entry, very simple to learn and teach you the basics. So if you're not actively trading, then I would actually think Robinhood would be the best to learn really quick, right? And then a step up from that would be something like Moomoo, which is okay. It's not the greatest, the fills aren't the best, but again, it teaches you and walks you through everything. So it's very beginner friendly, and you'll definitely learn more along with it, right? Robinhood's very basic, simple to understand. And then Webull. I had to put it up here because everyone's gonna ask about it. It's my least favorite broker out of everything. The customer support's pretty terrible, which customer support for me is really big. So if I have an issue, I can't contact someone there ever. It's always a bot. If I had to pick between all these and I was brand new, Robinhood would probably be the easiest to understand. If I wanted something a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more of an edge where I can do my charting and all things like that, Moomoo. Now down here you have Interactive Brokers and Thinkorswim. Now between the two of these, Interactive Brokers is the winner no matter what, but it's a very ugly platform. I will say that on your computer, it's the ugliest platform that I've seen. It looks like it was built in 1999. Thinkorswim is the most beloved platform out there. Not the absolute greatest, but pretty good. I actively use Thinkorswim. It's super easy to use. And there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but if your goal is to really day trade and you have the time to put it in, I think Thinkorswim is the way to go personally. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, so if you are dead set on doing this, I think starting with Thinkorswim is going to be your best bet, and you're going to save money in the long term. Okay, but this is really about knowing yourself. Are you just starting this as a hobby in the beginning, or are you going to get very serious very fast? Now, again, if you're in that middle where you just don't know just yet what you're doing, I think the safest bet in learning as quick as possible is going to happen with one of the beginners. But if you want to like alleviate having to switch brokers, then I would say jump down to something like Thinkorswim. Personally, it's going to have everything that you could possibly need just to give you a feel. So that's going to be very important. Now, the broker is one of the hardest parts, so choose whoever you want to use. I do recommend, if you're taking this very seriously, go with something like Thinkorswim. Personal opinion. And no matter where you pick your broker, you now have to decide where you're going to do all your charting and where you're going to put in all your work. Now, this is why I think Thinkorswim is a good opinion or a good choice. Let's get to exactly why. Okay, so the second part of this, we need to go into exactly how to chart, how to find trades, things like that, right? So you're going to have two options. Now, I'm going to show you Tradingview, which everyone loves Tradingview, right? Again, going into Tradingview right here, very simple. They have a free version, but again, you're probably going to have to pay at least 20 bucks to get access to all the software, right? Very simple, very clean, minimalistic, can customize everything to the way you like it, have your watch list, everything like that, right? This is the beginner phase here. But one thing that I'll say, and some brokers have the charting for you, but if you're going for the best charts on a broker, again, this is what I was saying back here with Thinkorswim. So this is Thinkorswim, the one I was telling you about. You have everything here. It's all live data, and it's all included when you pay actively and have your funded account with them, okay? Any money you have on their account, I think it's like at least 200 bucks or something. You get all your information. It's free. You can have all your indicators, everything like that. And if you want access to all of my indicators here, I'm gonna have a link down below. You can just click and it'll like take you to a page, and you can optimize all of your stuff just like mine. So you don't even have to like take the time and add it all yourself. But for the sake of most of my videos, I do all of them on the Tradingview. And again, it comes back down to that original point. Where I started my trading journey, 7-8 years ago, was on Tradingview. And so it's just been incredibly hard for me to get off of that. So that's why I always encourage you, if I was to go back, I would be solely on Thinkorswim. Why? Because it's all included. You can do all your trading there. You can do everything. You don't have to go, platform to platform. That's a very important part for me. Again, I hope that made sense. I hope you understand why I chose what I chose, and I hope you understand why I said what I said. I think Robinhood's really good in the beginning if you just want to learn, right? And people are going to hate on Robinhood. I don't care. It's still the easiest platform to learn and to get educated on what options are or how to day trade stocks. Now we're going to go into trading strategy. Again, I have to put something in there so you understand. So I'm going to really simply cover what I do and how I attack the market. You can use whatever strategy you want, because at the end of the video, I'm going to explain exactly how to implement that and how to backtest to make sure you're going to be successful over time. And again, it's going to require work, but it's going to be very clear. Now, I'm not going to do a full-on trading video walking you through everything and teaching you the ins and outs. But what I am going to say and quickly go over is my trading strategy and how I trade. Now, I encourage you to find anything that works for yourself. It does not have to be what I do. Now, what I do is two things: supply and demand and key level trading. Okay. And it's basically me reacting to what the market does. So let's just give you a for instance. Let's say the market is going up and up and up and up. Now, you have some people, what they like to do is they like to trade the breakout. Right? Some people are breakout traders. You break above previous highs, you go long in the breakout. Now, what I find is sometimes you get trapped on those breakouts. For instance, right here, you break above, some local highs right there. And this is the NASDAQ 100, as you can see. You break above, you get trapped, and you pull back. Okay? Just a for instance, right? I am more of a reactive trader. That's how I use my zones in my key levels and the price action. What does that mean? So instead of going along here, what I look for are breaks and retest, for instance. So your previous highs, I'm always watching price action for the break, so a sign of strength, but I'm not going to get too aggressive there. I like to conservative and reduce my risk at all times. So I like to trade the retest and then watch the reaction that we get from there. And so all I know here too is my stop loss is always going to be very conservative here. So let's say I go long just above that and I set my stops a little bit wider, but ultimately I'm targeting back into those local highs. Well, my risk to reward is always going to be great. And if you need to know about risk rewards, my previous video I covered here last week on the channel, the link will be down below. You can just click on my channel. So that's a best way to look at it. Okay. And so what you're going to notice is you're going to always have pretty good risk across the board. Right. And so that's a very big tool to be able to identify. So when we're in a trend, I usually trade the structure of that trend. And so to be able to identify what a trend is, it's really, really simple here. All a trend is when you're making higher highs, right? We're just continually making higher highs on a chart, right? Over and over. And then what are you doing inside of that trend? You're making higher lows consistently. So this is our low, and then we make another low, and then another low, and then another low, over and over and over. Correct? We continually are just in a clear-cut trend. And you'll notice as well, you can just quickly just draw out the chart for yourself. So again, this is the simplest way to identify this, just really quick so you can see. You have a little bit of a breakdown there, but you can still see what's happening. And so what I prefer to do in this is to trade in the direction of the trend, right? Consistently to the upside. Now, when we break structure, then I'll flip and I'll start to preferably trade the downside there. And that's overall what I'm doing because it lines up with a few things. One, my break, right here, you broke. Your retest, and then you push back up, correct? And this is what we do over and over and over. And you're going to notice in this trend that you're going to have the highest percent of win rates of overall gains compared to losses if you're trading the upside instead of the downside, because you're overall over the past 2-3 months, you're just moving to that upside. So we always want to trade in the favor of big markets and big players. That's the goal here. Now, there are a few things you can do to help you excel or maybe learn a little bit quicker, or a little bit of a cheat, right? If you will, right? To, get the process going a little bit more. But I always like to tell you guys the free way first, just so you know. And if you want education, there's a lot of education that I can give out to you guys, right? So again, you can go to YouTube, and a lot of this stuff is going to be free on YouTube, okay? But we also have, as you can see, what's happening here on our YouTube, which is free. All of our education we don't charge, but then on our website, option drops. You can go to education and you can search specific things, and we post all of our education absolutely free. We do not sell an education course. Like, before you ever pay for someone's content, I encourage you guys, learn the free version first at all times. And so this is all there. So you can go to our break and retest strategy. You can spend all day long looking at this. We make articles almost every single week. And so again, you're just going to see endless content. So there's something specifically you want to search, like options. Okay, I can quickly search, and it'll show every single article where I discuss options trading or options strikes or things along those lines. So again, you can see all of that, what's happening inside there as well. So again, I don't want to make the bulk of the video over a trading strategy because we have so many videos on that. And again, if you're a new person on the channel, go check those out. Spend the time there. And again, I'm telling you right now, the common denominator between successful new traders and failures, in my opinion, is the people that put in the hours and put in the work. Okay, so I've been thinking for a while, how can I make a 3-step process to understand when you should really start trading, or what should you do before you start risking your money? So I came up with this. And so basically what we're gonna do is you develop your strategy, you step into a back test, or you start to test your strategy, and then you set goals based on what everything you learned or everything that you practiced, right? And then once you can accomplish that goal, you move on to the real deal, the pros. Now, I want to go into the 3 steps before you start actively throwing your money in the market. This is my 3-step little cycle you should be looking at. Now, number 1, we kind of covered. You want to develop, find a strategy. Obviously, number 1. Now, this is going to be different. You might not like my supply and demand. You might want to be a more aggressive trader. You might want to be more conservative. You might want to sell options. You might just want to buy stock. That might be for you. And again, whatever works. You're going to notice I don't use a lot of indicators. I rely solely on volume and price action. Okay. You might want to use indicators. Now, whatever that might be, focus on that, find one that works for you. And then you're going to go to step number 2. You're going to set up a back test and start collecting data. So I recommend journaling. It's the biggest tip I could give any of you. Use a pen and paper in the beginning. It's free. You can create your own little custom Discord, and I'll give you an instance on what we do and what I recommend to a lot of the new guys. This is just personally what I tell people because it's free, and I always encourage people to just do this on their own. So I'm going to use someone from us, and this is how they journal. So every single trade, they go over what they're doing and how they're doing it. They tag us, we break down, we go over it, we go in and out. But you can do this on your own. You can just create a free Discord down here, add a server, make your own, and get a list of your friends in it, right? Some guys that you're looking to get into trading with, you find online, whatever it may be. Get a little community for yourself so you guys can go over the data for yourself. Because what's better than one person testing a strategy? Having multiple people doing it, right? And again, maybe I'm counter-selling people's courses and this and that. But I'm just telling you guys, put in the work, find some friends, do it together. I'm telling you, when you surround yourself with people, it's going to make a major, major difference. So again, you're going to find whatever's working for you, backtesting software, backtesting strategy, right? You're going to obtain data, what your wins versus losses, how much you need to win, how much you're winning average on each trade, understanding your trade plan, right? Because again, people want to say, well, how do I know when to get out? We got to have a target. You have to understand, why do I set a target? Where am I looking to get in? Where do I expect sellers to step in, right? Clear there. What are your assumptions and your results? What's your limitations, right? If I'm scalping, I'm not going to look to swing ever. So my gains aren't going to be astronomical, like maybe a 3-month swing on Tesla, right? It's going to be way less. So I'm hitting ground balls instead of home runs. And then you want to optimize your strategy for yourself. So if you notice that you're only winning maybe $1.50 to every dollar you're risking, you want to get that up to maybe $2. So you want to understand, maybe I go for more aggressive entries. Maybe I widen my stop. Maybe I have to get a little bit more risk on the table to make more money. You get to understand all those things. And that's why I'm telling you guys, surrounding yourself with people is the biggest thing because it's going to help you in the long run. Right? You're going to be able to maybe be quicker to make those guesses, keep each other accountable. And some things are going to be a little bit, objective to what you're thinking about, right? So you may have a feeling about it, but someone else may have a different viewpoint and it might give you the correct viewpoint that you needed to have. And then from there, you're going to go to goals and objectives. This is the last thing that you're going to do. So I would be having small objectives like how am I going to increase or make my back testing better to make the strategy better? Right? I want to make sure I have a clear-cut strategy, clear-cut entries every single trade. But my goal, I might be considering I want to make X amount paper trading before I start putting in $3,000, $4,000 into day trading. Or I might want to save up $3,000 before I start day trading. Because again, I don't recommend day trading with $200 because if you make $200, realistically, you should aim for 2 to 3% of wins. And that's just, $6, $7. So again, I think just saving up money is probably the best way in the long run, but start creating goals for yourself. Don't just go in this blindly. When you start to organize and have a clear-cut structure and plan, everything will fall into place and you'll know exactly where you're lagging behind or where you need to improve. Now, for the sake of the video, I really hope I was able to break things down for you and I didn't mislead you in any way. It should have been really directly to the point. And in the beginning, I wish someone told me everything that I just told you. I wish it was as completely as honest, maybe harsh at times. But again, the truth ultimately will help you in the long run. And if you want to make money in this game, you need to be able to accept the reality of what trading really is. It's a really hard game to win at. And you need to understand when you win, someone else is on the other end and they're losing. So it's a competition. You're constantly fighting and trying to go against someone else. And that's the reality that you have to have in the back of your mind. It's a dog-eat-dog game. That's the game that you're signing up for, and that's what you have to expect. If you got anything out of this, subscribe, like the video. I have lots of education on our site and on this page in particular. And before you ever pay anyone, right? Don't even consider me. Consider anyone you want. Learn everything you can for free first, because you need to have a base before you're ever going to learn from someone else. Because if you have no idea what they're talking about, how are you going to be able to learn? How are you going to be able to get better, right? Find a community, find some friends, start learning this right now. Ask as many questions as you can. Be repetitive. Don't worry what other people think, guys. You're in charge of your future. That's what it is. If you want to succeed, it's all up to you. I'll see you next time.